So we have a lot of news to go through this week. It's a very full week. There's a lot of just stuff to talk about. The Oscars are happening. Stuff is happening with PlayStation. Stuff is happening with Pokemon, video games, wrestling. It seems like there's just a lot of stuff going on. So we have a bunch of shit to get through. We're just going to have to get started. And then we have a really great topic of the week this week that I think everybody should be really interested in talking about. But let's just get it going right away and talk about what we played together last night, and that was Smite. Woo. And the news story that goes along with it is that IGN, I've never heard of something like this, and if you guys have before, tell me. They gave away 100,000 Smite codes this weekend. But it's supposed to be an alpha, so even though it's an open alpha, I didn't hear about anybody else even giving them away. It was a weird exclusive deal with IGN in order to give these things away. Did you guys get your codes from IGN?
I got it from the link that you posted. I didn't know anything about it other than that. So
yeah, I didn't even know it was happening until I saw that link also.
I know that once you're in the game, you can refer a friend from the main Smite menu. I don't know if that takes you to IGN. I didn't check it out.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just thought it was funny. I saw that they were doing a live stream on Thursday, and all of a sudden they're just promoting, we have all these codes to give away, and I was like, oh, okay, I better get on that right away. And then I found out it was like 100,000 of them. I'm all like, pretty sure I'll get in. And I don't think any of us had an issue. But we got to play some Smite this weekend. What'd you guys think of it?
Awesome. It was more fun than I thought it was going to be because I'm not a huge MOBA guy.
Yeah, it's a MOBA, and it's fun. Jase, your face is not.
I know you had fun last night.
You totally had fun playing with us.
It's all right.
Oh, man, here it is.
Oh.
The reputation's on the line.
Right.
Come on, dude.
Nah.
It was.
Well, I guess
I'll bury myself.
I guess I'll start it off by saying that I loved it. I've had a really good time playing Smite this weekend. I've played it for at least 15 hours already this weekend. Oh. I played it for another 3 hours today. I found a new hero that I wasn't playing with you guys, that I wasn't playing with last night when I played with y'all, and I'm freaking owning shop with him. His name's like Onur or something. He's like this lion guy that throws spears. I don't know. He's Egyptian, but he's awesome. He's like a hunter character, almost like an archer, but he throws spears instead.
Here it goes. We're playing our characters. Alex got Poseidon.
Right, and Tim, who were you playing with last night? Ymir or whatever? Ymir? I can't say these names.
Ymir, Ymir.
Yeah, the guardian.
Big ice guy.
Big ice guy. Well, for being a MOBA, I'm super surprised that I liked it. I think, though, it all has to do with the perspective. It has to, because it was the third-person action is what made it fun, to me.
Yeah, well, and we were playing with people we knew.
Right. But even if I was playing with people I knew for, like, League of Legends, I don't think I would have had the same fun as I was playing Smite.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think it is the third-person perspective, because on the other one, you're, like, scanning all over the map, and it's just a lot more involved. This one's still pretty involved, though.
It is, but it's also very simple. It seems like because of...
Especially when you auto-level and they buy your items or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you just play the game.
Right. You know, when I first started and I was practicing at first, I did that. And it's taken me time, and now I've been looking up boards and trying to find build outs and all of this stuff.
I'm not about to do that.
Yes, you will. Next time we play, you're going to find a build.
I know.
I found my character already, so...
You were playing as the archer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you were doing really good every time you played as her. We tried to switch it up a few times, and we got wasted when we played New Gods.
Well, some of them are just terrible. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, well, that was super fun. I don't think they've actually given a release date for the official release of Smite on PS4. It's in alpha right now. They haven't said anything about a beta. It feels like the full game to me. I've seen other people play it. I don't know what would be...
It doesn't feel like an alpha.
It doesn't feel like an alpha at all.
I was going to say, the only thing that makes it feel like an alpha to me is the fact that there's no long-term, like, advantage to it. Like, I feel like there's no, like, stat or anything. I don't know.
Like, there has to be leaderboards or something.
I think once you start playing PvP is when you start ranking up and you're actually, like, on the map.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not sure.
that's
I'm not
true.
sure if that's live yet because we didn't do it.
Well, I know you can play PvP. We just didn't. We didn't play any deathmatch. We only played co-op matches.
Yeah, we would have got our asses handed to us.
That's what I think too. Even after playing all day today, I'm still terrified to go into my first real PvP match because I feel I'm just going to get torn apart. And you can play really aggressive against the computer because they're, not going to be as smart as a human player. Well, we can move on from Smite. I think we all did enjoy it. Jay seems like he's poo-pooing on it a little bit, but he had a great time with us last night. So.
Yeah, I got to act tough, Jase. What the fuck?
And he was the hero of the team multiple times. I'm pretty sure you had at least a couple rounds with
because
a
I'm
12-1, a 12-2 KD.
Greatest thing ever.
It ain't wrestling, that's for sure.
It's not wrestling. We'll get to some wrestling news later.
That's not wrestling.
On to some more video game news.
Damn it!
This week there's been a release of a few games. Tim, you were bringing up a PlayStation Flash sale. What exactly is the sale going on?
Not a flash sale. I think it's
not
on
a flash
the 29th. It's I think it's to coincide with the Oscars. It's like the Oscar picks.
Editor's choice.
Editor's choice, but it's kind of like Oscar themed, and I saw like Oscar picks, like the best. I don't know if it's like best selling or most highly rated games on PSN are on sale. Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, they're like 40% off. Black Ops 3 is 45. Soma was 45. Until Dawn was 40% off. Life is Strange is 50, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. It's the single best sale I've ever seen on PSN, bar none.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of games, almost half off.
Battlefront, I think, is half off.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
30.
you listed some of the games that rounded out some of our top 10s in that list too. I mean, you're talking about some awesome games rounding out that list.
Oh yeah, it's a impressive list. Like he's saying, it's impressive games that came out like in the fall. Some of the better ones from earlier in the year. Like he said, the big names that would be like on an Oscar ballot type thing.
Sure.
On there too, I think.
And they're marked off pretty high. Like I said, it's a really good sell. I kind of just glanced at it because I was like, I have that.
Yeah.
I have that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I have that. I have that.
That's
it's great. It's a good one.
It's exactly the way I am. A lot of those games you listed off, I do already own, or I know they're ones that I'm not going to get around to, like Metal Gear. Jase, have you continued to play that, Jase, or did you give up?
I haven't played it since last week. I'm not going to say I gave up, but I haven't played it since last week. I'm definitely not going to even attempt a platinum run or anything.
Yeah,
it's just not in me. Even just beating the game itself, I don't even think I have it in me to get that far. Like I said, I feel like I've played. I don't know. I can't play it right. How I think you should play it.
Yeah.
And I just can't do it. Every mission just ends in a gunfight, and I'm like, I don't feel like this should be the case every time. But every one of my missions end in a gunfight.
They probably shouldn't end that way now.
Well, I think it should, because I'm going to start playing it again, and I'm just going to have the mindset where I'm going in like it's a third-person like action, and I'm going to fuck the stealth. Because you know what I mean? I did that with Metal Gear Solid 4, and I had an awesome time.
But I heard that with Metal. I heard with
fun, though.
I heard
it's
with
really
Metal Gear.
Fun.
Yeah, with Metal Gear 4 though, I heard you could play it more fire, like you could run and gun that game. I heard 5 is not. It's not designed that way.
I'm going to try it.
You can do it. It's designed to be able to, but it's designed to have stealth first, and I think it's not working that way for me. Like I can get like into the mission a good ways and feel like I'm good about it, and then all of a sudden it's just like boop, and I'm just like fuck it.
Firefight.
It's fun.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Well, yes, go check out the PlayStation sale. There's a lot of great games in there. If you missed any of the really marquee games of 2015, it seems like you can go get a good deal on some of those games. Moving on next, continuing on with PlayStation. The PlayStation Plus games for March were released this week. And I don't know what you guys think. We've all seen the list. I am thoroughly unimpressed. Not that it really matters. That's not the point of PlayStation Plus. And I'm not trying to say that, they deserve to give us better games. But this list of games, let me go through them real fast. For PlayStation 4, we're getting Broforce. Now, Broforce is actually supposed to be awesome.
Broforce is awesome.
I'm really, really looking forward to playing Broforce. Also on PlayStation 4, we got Gallic Z, which I know nothing about. Some other indie game. PlayStation 3, Super Stardust HD. Okay, it's more Stardust. It's on PlayStation 3. Also, PlayStation 3, The Last Guy. I don't even know what that is.
Hey, guy.
Hey, guy. All right, I'm the last one of them.
By the last guy, buddy.
I'm also probably the last game that should get made for PlayStation 3. Everybody should put those things away. And on Vita...
No.
Come on.
Let
It's
it go,
time.
Jase.
It's
Yep.
time. We need to move past the PlayStation
Mine is
3.
permanently hooked up to the TV again. It has a place on my shelf because I've been playing so many PS1 classics on it.
Okay.
And what was I playing the other day?
But that's what your Vita's for.
We'll
To
get
play
into
those
that later.
PS1. Yes, we will. All right, and then on Vita we get Flame Over and Reality Fighters, which, yet again, I have no idea what those games are.
I don't know.
Um,
I've heard of Reality Fighter, I feel like, but I don't know anything about it.
I also don't really know anything about it, and it's just... I feel like we've had a few months now where that really marquee AAA game... Like, where's the PlayStation 4 game that's like a release game? Why haven't we gotten Killzone?
I don't think they're worried about that, especially for the last few months. It was the holiday season,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was the month after the holiday season, where they're going to sell the games at retail, the big games like the Fallouts and the Call of Duties and all that stuff. They don't want to cloud their independent because those people have to pay. They basically gamble money to get those games like free to give away.
Isn't it where Sony, they come to a deal, Sony gives them a certain amount of money so they can put it on there, and they kind of toss it up to, well, how would this compare to unknown sales numbers for that month?
Exactly, because let's take Rocket League, for example, who they rolled the dice of should they be free the moment they came out.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to go with it, and yes, they were free that first month, and they had a ton of downloads, but it got everybody playing their game.
And talking about it.
And they've still turned around and sold over, I want to say, 6 million copies at this point.
And it just came out on Xbox. So.
Yeah, and that's between PlayStation 4 and PC, where they sold that many. Now, downloads is way more than that because none of those sales equated to the PlayStation Plus. So the amount of people they got playing their game, it totally worked out for them. Jeff Gertzman was on the Kind of Funny podcast last week, and he was talking about how much they made. And I think he threw a number out there where they've made like $60 million from Rocket League, that's an incredible number for that indie game.
Good.
So this for how much that game probably cost to produce, that's just an incredible number. And that gamble paid off for them.
Yeah. It doesn't pay off for everyone, but I think for the most part it usually does. But yeah, it's them weighing whether they think they're going to be able to sell more and make more revenue than what Sony is offering them to get the exposure.
Right.
And I just don't think anyone they probably tried to get big games and been like, yo, independent studio, I don't know who, you want to be November's free PlayStation Plus game? And they're like, people are going to be playing, their AAA $60 games. We don't want to compete against that. We'll wait until the spring or summer or something whenever stuff isn't coming out.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, speaking of AAA games, though, coming out right now, I mean, we played Smite this weekend, but last week there were some games that came out. So we'll move on from PlayStation Plus. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I think we all still think PlayStation Plus is worth it, right?
It is. It's 1 month.
I mean,
don't worry about it. And you get Broforce anyways. Broforce is awesome.
Right. So I don't want to sit here and actually try to play devil's advocate because I don't want to complain about PlayStation Plus. I still think it's awesome. I am waiting for one of those PlayStation 4.
There'll be a Spring Fever sale.
Yeah.
There'll be a Spring Fever sale.
I'm waiting for something like Knack or Killzone Shadowfall or something, or even Infamous Second Son to drop on there.
I don't want those two just because people were so sure that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to be on PlayStation Plus within a year. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
I hope it's not now.
And it's still, it's still never happened.
And it's still,
And it's still never happened. So.
Like I said, yeah, I think it's funny that when people are so sure about shit.
Right. Well, this week we had a massive AAA title game come out, Far Cry Primal, and none of us decided to play it. Yeah, is that weird? I mean, I love Far Cry, and I know Tim loves Far Cry, and this one has come and gone. I don't hear people talking about it. I don't hear any buzz about this game.
There's good chatter about it, but there's just no real buzz, like you said.
Right.
Like we talked about last week. Tim wasn't here, but I'm sure he shares it. It's more open world, and like he just said, it's more Fallout. There's not Far Cry. There's not a lot different in it, and I don't know. Like I said, I like bows, but I don't know if I want to use the bow the whole time. Right. I also like sniper rifles.
And I love Far Cry. I absolutely love it. But I watched a few streams. I looked at some reviews. I'm sorry, it's just a game that I feel you can pass on. Like I'll get it when it's cheap.
Because
I don't even know if I'll do it then.
Well, when it jumped from Far Cry 3 to 4, everyone was like, yeah, more Far Cry, but it was almost different setting, but it was extremely similar. So I think it's just that one more jump to where people are like, eh. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say they learned their lesson with Far Cry 4, but they just kind of, this is probably going to be more of the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like, I expect 5 needs to be almost radically different. Just because they're all just little incremental steps. And I don't know, I feel like when 5 comes out in a year and a half or 2 years or whatever, and if it's anywhere close to these, it's just going to get another, even though it's not year to year, which I want to put it past them to put it out next fall. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the next, people are going to start calling it Assassin's Creed 2 even more.
Right. What do you think they could possibly do to change up the formula of Far Cry?
No idea.
I mean, Far Cry is Far Cry, just like Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed. You have people that complain that the last Batman game, which I know Tim was a huge fan of, up there on the top of his list, but people were like, it was just more Batman. And yes, it had the Batmobile, but it was just more Batman.
Mm-hmm. It's
tough. So how do these companies continue to make games when they get 4 or 5 games deep?
2 letters. VR.
There it is.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's actually, I'm so glad you said VR, because we'll talk about the other game that came out this week and why I'm even more excited for VR.
Oh my God.
This week, another game came out called Super Hot. Super Hot.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it's a weird first-person shooter puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you first look at it, the graphics are very interesting. It's very
plain.
Polygonal is the word I was looking for.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Like it comes from the PS1 era. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, Jase, will you take a second and explain the mechanics of the game real fast? Because Tim, you've not heard of this, right?
Yeah, I played the.
Oh, you played it.
Oh, you played it. Nice. Okay.
Or not that one, but like when they did the 1 week game challenge that this game was based off of.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever play that?
No.
Like a couple years ago.
No.
Yeah, I think it was a 1 week challenge for developers to design a game. They only had a week, so they came out with the idea that time continued only when you moved.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you could look around, everything's stationary, but when you started to walk forward or back or any direction, that's when people start moving. So they're shooting you. When you stop, the bullets are frozen, and when you start to move, they start to move again. So you kind of have to like weave your way through the environment. Yeah, the when they developed it, it was like only a couple levels, but it was a lot of fun.
That's crazy. I didn't know that it started there. I had only heard of it now.
Yeah, I knew because I didn't know about it until I watched the Tim and Greg do their little playthrough of it, or of the little beta demo or whatever. It was just like 3 levels. I didn't hear about it. I kind of watched it, and I was like, okay, like I think like because I felt like they were the same. They're like, we don't really know a lot about this, but they tried it, and as soon as you can tell, as soon as they started moving and stuff, like, okay, I get this. And they started doing all the like some of the fun stuff you can do on it, like the manipulation of the like picking up objects and throwing it, and then dropping a gun, picking it up, and using it immediately. And they're like, "Okay, this is good." I'm like, "This has me intrigued like completely." So, yeah, and it did change, or it messes with you because even when you turn and check your environment, like, is somebody coming up behind me, and you turn to look behind you, they move too. So it's not just moving forward and back and stuff. It's any type of movement at all is
Right.
time happening. So
Which
it's
is so cool.
my
I had not really seen the game. I knew it was coming out, and I knew Jace had actually talked about it a little bit. And so Jace actually went to stream it, so I had to jump on and watch his stream. And I was instantly like, wow, this game is intriguing. This game is freaking cool. I was
pretty cool.
Yeah. But what got me even more excited, as I was watching Jace play, we somehow got talking about VR. And then that is all I could think about.
Mhm.
Is Super Hot in VR
Mhm.
would seriously be one of the coolest games. Can you imagine that, Tim, where you're in the VR and you can look around, but until you actually go and move, that's when things happen, and you have to use your actual face to scan the environment.
They're pretty cool.
Got it.
It's games like that make me more excited for VR than just a straight up shooter. I would rather have a game like Super Hot, this really interesting puzzly shooter, than just a Call of Duty VR. Like, that looks more intriguing to me. And you guys, as the puzzle games people, I'm surprised that you're not kind of on that same boat, because it really seems like a puzzle game to me too.
It is. Like, I have a buddy on Twitter, and when Witness came out, or really he's stated to me, we've had conversations about it numerous times, where he doesn't like puzzle games. He doesn't find the satisfaction in solving a puzzle. He says, I can be doing a lot more with my time than staring at a screen trying to solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
And I don't get anything from completing it. I'm like, really? Like, you don't feel smart or like accomplished or anything from solving a hard puzzle, or even an easy puzzle. Just any like I said, I love puzzles. So, but he's like, no, I don't get anything from it. I'd rather just go through, shoot. I'm like, well, that's sad. But I did tell him, I said, once this game comes, like, because it's not coming to PS4. It's on PC now. And it's coming to Xbox One either later this in March or in April. It's coming to Xbox One. Yeah, Super Hot. And so he said he'll check it out once it's on Xbox One, because I don't think he plays anything on PC.
Mm-hmm.
But because I said it is a puzzle game, I said, but it's shooting. And I was like, it's nothing like I've seen before. Well, like, because it's all in your hands. You can take advantage of it however you want. It's not set like there's only one answer. There's whatever you can do to figure it out. Some of them it leans you toward like doing it in a certain way, but really it's only at the start of the level, because after that, I mean, it's just like a shooter,
Right?
Where if one bullet can change the whole entire dynamic of the map, because you may get shot on the left, so you take off to the right. And so everybody has to shift with you, and so the whole dynamic changes. And with Super Hot, you walk into a room, and say they want you to shoot everyone from left to right, and say you just move forward just a little bit too far. One of those bullets from the right may get you just good enough to where, well, if you die if you get hit by a bullet in this game, like anything, you're dead. But if you see it and you have to shift a little to the left or whatever, it could throw off the whole map. You may be closer to pick something up to throw it. Like, I was in situations where I was just picking up guns and throwing it at the next guy, like, over and over. And
it was really funny. I saw you do stuff like that, and it was hilarious.
Like I said, it takes some thinking, and but it has that shooting like satisfaction to it too. And I really would like to see people who have gotten used to it. Like Zach, you mentioned it during my stream. Like, it would probably be a really fun speedrun game.
Yeah, totally.
And there are options for speedrunning, like, in the game. Like, it's like speed run this area, whatever. But if people actually get it and like run through it without stopping, like, even though it makes it just a regular first person shooter, but just the fact that those mechanics are there, it's different. Yeah. Like,
I can't wait to see that game speedrun.
Have they talked about how big it is?
The main story only takes 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a little short. How much was it right now?
It's 10% off right now. It's $22.50.
Okay, that's not too bad.
That's kind of bad.
Well, I do recommend that people
I
go
got
out.
a refund on it.
Did you really?
Yep.
For
I'll
a
buy
2-hour
it.
game, $25.
I'll buy it when it's on sale, for
Yeah.
sure. Because there, like I said, there's other content on it, like the speedrunning options, these other little scenario type things. But I was just like, I don't feel like I just wanted to go through the story because the story is really cool too, like how they set it up and like the whole premise of it. It's pretty cool too. But like I said, I don't have the set, number of hours versus how much I paid for it, like graph. But we all have an internal equilibrium to where we feel good about what we paid for with what we're getting, and it just did not meet my equilibrium. And so I was like, I can't justify this purchase. So
Hey.
like I said, I didn't feel super good about it because I'm like, it helps them. But it just doesn't set well with me how long that game was and how much I paid for it.
Sure.
Yep.
I saw that you were playing it. I was very intrigued by it. But at no point was I going out of my way to try to go purchase it. I mean, I have a lot of other things I'm playing at the moment. And the game wasn't so much that I had to run out and get it now.
Mhm.
Now, in the future, when I someday end up with an Oculus in my house and I have a PlayStation VR in my house and that game is a VR game, that is when I'll end up supporting that game.
Oh my
I
God.
hope it gets there. I can't wait till it gets there. It will be awesome when that happens.
Maybe
Yeah.
Super Hot 2 coming to PS4 when VR is already out and
Oh,
established.
that would be awesome. Well, let's move on from there. Also this week, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow came out on 3DS digitally. Jase, you ended up buying Pokemon Yellow, or did you buy it, or were you?
I
Just
bought
playing it?
the French version on accident.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Oh.
How do you do that? Like, can you believe that, Tim? He somehow bought the French version on an
Ow.
English server.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. If you saw the menus, you could see how it's a possibility. Especially when I went into the eShop menu, and it had red, blue, yellow. But
Why
then
is this all in French?
But it had no. That's the thing. It's in English. And then you go and you click over, and there was this little box that said Pokemon. I said, oh, I wonder what else they put out for it. So I clicked on it, and once again, it had red, blue, yellow. But then it had I didn't notice at the time. I just kind of scrolled through, and I saw 1, 2, 3, and because on the first page it was red, blue, yellow. Then I clicked on that Pokemon one. Then there was something, and I saw blue, yellow, and so I clicked on the yellow, and I said purchase, and I went and I said download now, and I started downloading it, and then I kind of looked at it as like once it completed, and I looked and it said French version, like it says Pokemon Yellow version, and then underneath that it says French version or something, and I was like, what the fuck? So I went back in and I looked, and it was English yellow, blue Japanese, yellow French, and then they got into the reds or something. Like I said, they're all out of whack in the order on the line in the store, and I was like, what? Ugh.
Sacre bleu.
I wonder how many. I wonder how many people that happened to then.
I don't know, because
Jeez.
probably
Jeez.
just me.
Just one.
Because then you go on their website and like try to like file a complaint or whatever. It says all sales are final. Like, read the descriptions before you buy shit.
Oh my God.
The
And I was like-
descriptions were in French. I'm
No,
so
it's
sorry.
all English. And I was just like, I don't know. I got to send the email to at least try. And I they sent me the email saying, yeah, I'd have to call in. And then I called the guy and he said, oh yeah, we'll get you taken care of. We'll send you another email with the steps we need to take to, we'll delete it off your system and then refund you the money so that way you can go back in and repurchase it. And as of right now, it is still not done. So
That's funny. Well, Jake in our chat said his friend accidentally purchased
Yes!
the French version as well.
it's
So
an epidemic.
there's at least one person who can back you up and say that it was on there all ridiculous like on the store.
The order didn't make any sense. It was bullshit.
That's funny. Well, it was I saw you streaming a little bit of Pokemon Yellow. It really was very nostalgic.
Yes.
I love Pokemon. Other Pokemon news this week, they announced Pokemon Sun and Moon this week. The
Pokemoon.
next generation of Pokemon, Sun and Moon. What do you guys think of the name Sun and Moon?
Fair
I
enough.
mean, they've kind of gotten away from colors anyway. They did
Which is
X,
a little
they
sad,
did X and
but-
Y, and they did X and Y too, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they did. No, they did X, Y. Then they've had black, white too.
Black, white too.
But then they had
Diamonds.
rubies and sapphires and shit, which is
Yeah.
the friend might have been me.
It was a good joke. That's really funny. Jake.
But yeah, so they strayed away from characters or colors before. Like I missed colors, but what else are they gonna do? Orange and purple or something?
Yeah, I know. It would just seem like it would get ridiculous.
Wouldn't it be cool if they did
Mauve and teal?
Crimson and America's Brightest Orange? That'd be cool.
Does it
That's
matter?
OU versus Oklahoma State.
Yeah. I'm glad that would make sense for 1/50th of the American audience.
Yo,
Him and the other guy.
that
got pushed up.
1/50th of the American audience is the one that matters.
Okay.
Very
Well, that's-
selfish part of the American audience.
Right. Well, that's all really though we know about Sun and Moon. They announced the name. They did a Pokemon Direct, which is I guess like a Nintendo Direct, but it was Pokemon centered. I didn't actually watch it.
Neither did I.
I'm sorry. I'm a little over Pokemon. I was actually drastically more excited for Yellow and Red and Blue to be out, even though I don't own a 3DS and I'm not even going to buy those games.
Is it all the same, or are they introducing new mechanics?
No, they're pretty much straight ports.
Yeah.
They even left in some glitches, kind of like how Mega Man did with their Mega Man collection.
Right.
Because like you can still get Missing O.
Oh, really?
Yep, you can still get Mew.
That's cool.
Yep.
Well, do you guys have anything else to talk about game-wise this week? Because I think we're going to move on from video games.
Platinum the Witness finally. Thank God.
Hell yeah. Very nice. Congratulations, sir.
That's right. We were texting about the one of the trophies.
Yeah, very interesting Platinum, because you can't just use
Yeah,
a guide
right.
for all
It's
of it.
great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
How
Very
many
well
how many
thought out.
platinums is that for you now, Tim? Because I know you only recently have started caring about trophies. So I'm interested
yeah.
to know.
It's not very many. 4 or 5 tops.
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Yeah, but I mean, I
But,
started.
I got my 11th one after the show last week. I went in and I finished Infamous Second Son's Platinum and got number 11.
I can't do it, man. 100% clear.
Yeah. It's not that bad. I mean, when you play through it on hard, you almost have to do that anyway. And it's really not that bad, dude, especially when you're playing on normal. It takes a little bit of time, but put on a movie on your laptop and just play the game. Hi, I'm Jake. We talked about Pokken Tournament a couple weeks ago, right, Jase?
Last week. It was last week.
It was just last week. We
Yeah,
talked
the end of
about
the show
Pokken
was
Tournament.
very Pokemon centric.
Yeah, you can actually go find last week's episode on YouTube, the Gaming Hutch. Actually, I haven't uploaded last week's episode. I will do that.
Liar.
So
Oh,
you can always find our past broadcasts on my Twitch channel here, or you can go to YouTube, search the Gaming Hutch.
or if you just want the audio version, can they go to iTunes yet, Mr. Zach?
No, man.
iTunes?
If you want them on iTunes, I want people to really start bugging me. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. I haven't gotten around to the iTunes.
That's right.
That's also why you guys haven't seen me on my normal video game streams. I've been here for HutchCast Live, but I had a whole nother week where I didn't do any video game streaming. But we're going to move on from video games. We do take more questions at the end of the show. Hi, I'm Jake. So stick around to the end of the show.
I think we covered Friday the 13th on episode 1 or 2.
We did. We have talked about the new Friday the 13th game. So you can go back through all of our old shows. You can find them on YouTube or in my highlights in the past broadcast section. And you can see all of the episodes there. But moving on from video games, I wanted to bring up, Tim, I know you don't get on Facebook all that much, but you at least have it. Facebook this week did a random update that I I didn't know was going to happen. And instead of a like button now, you can press and hold it, and there's all these stupid ass emojis. And it's like you can like emojis now. It's like, oh, angry emoji. But what does that mean? Is like, did my post make you angry? Are you angry by the content of my post? Are you now angry at me? I don't know how to interpret your angry face, Facebook.
The funny thing about that is it's kind of like the likes when somebody posts like this, it's just a story you find interesting, so you like it or something, but it's like a sad story where like somebody was murdered or something. I don't know. And you get on there and you have to like justify your like on the comments and be like, I don't like the fact that this person died, but I like that the fact that the guy got justice or something like, and you're like, I don't know.
No, I completely agree with that. It's so weird because someone's like, on the Kind of Funny page specifically, people are constantly, like, oh, wow, this bad thing happened. And don't get me wrong, that I have done posts like that before, like, life is hard. I'm going through stuff right now. I'm not feeling too good. I've been depressed. You guys are helping me through things. And then you see someone put the cry emoji. And I'm like, and you kind of look around and you're like, are you crying because the story made you sad? Are you crying because you think it's hilariously funny that they're in pain and you're in tears? Like, what are you
crying with them?
Yeah, are you crying with them? Are you trying to be, is this a supportive cry? I don't know what the hell you guys mean by some of this. Right. Yeah. Like these emojis, I feel, can just send the wrong message. And I mean, we're laughing about it now, but I find it so annoying. It is so annoying.
No, what day was it when they did it? Because I woke up and saw them, and I immediately put a status, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Well, I saw it on Facebook the day it came out. I forget what day it was. I want to say it was Tuesday or Wednesday. And I was on Facebook and people were like talking about it, and I hadn't done the update on my phone. And so I was like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, but then I saw the update, so I updated it and I saw it and I was like, oh my god, this is yet another reason to only try to use Twitter from here on out. Like, it's just ridiculous. I know it's stupid, but it's just something to talk about.
Like, even then, like my one of my nieces, she just had her 7th birthday 2 days ago, and my sister posted, pictures of her like blowing out her candles on her cake. And even then, I couldn't bring myself to do the heart for like love it or whatever. I just put like. I was like, I'm not fucking doing this.
Right, but then you go on and like all of the other family members are gonna have put love. So then
they all
of a sudden like.
My family is very stubborn.
They're a bunch of likers, huh?
They're a bunch of likers.
Not
we don't
a bunch
love
of lovers.
Anything. No, we all like stuff. We don't love it.
Well, I don't want to talk about Facebook too much. Good God. But I just thought this was so funny that I couldn't believe. What a stupid update. Like, they take the time to program this garbage and they think that this is what we like, what people
they get
want.
to burn their billions of dollars on.
They're probably getting requests for it that we don't see.
Like, that's what I said on my status. I was like, can we just get the like and the not like buttons, and then everyone's lives will be solved?
Yeah, but that's what was the joke. The joke going around was everybody wanted a dislike button. Instead, we got a bunch of stupid emojis.
See, so I think angry, though, is going to be the door for that. Like, the foot in the door for it. Like, you're going to see a lot of angry stuff, I think.
But
I just want to post angry shit.
But what about if it's a post like, I was driving my car today and this bitch rear-ended me. I hate stupid women drivers. And then someone goes on there and posts an angry face. But it's like, hold on a second. Are you angry because you agree that this stupid driver and women shouldn't be allowed to drive? Or are you angry because that person was being a misogynistic asshole, and yes, maybe a lady hit you, but accidents happen and they're angry at you for being a dick?
I think if,
mixed messaging instantly.
I'm going to say 80% of the angry faces that get posted, if they're against, like, I'm at you for being misogynistic, they're probably going to put in the comments also, I don't like you because you're misogynistic.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the hates or the angry faces are going to have a follow-up in the comments. Yeah.
I just think it's funny that a post like that could end up getting, say, if between 100 things that got responded, you could have 30 likes, 30 hearts,
And even those
and
likes are-
30 angry faces.
Because the like could just be,
Yeah.
I like the fact that you are being misogynistic, you know? Or
Right.
it could be, I like the fact that you got in a car wreck.
Yeah, and then there also could be 5 laughy faces in there because they find it hilarious you crashed your car.
Yep.
You know, it's just like
That is one of the beauties of
it's
Facebook.
the most convoluted way to respond to something. Jeez, oh my gosh, you can't just like and comment on shit. I don't even feel we needed a dislike button, but that's just me.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
There
But
it
anyway,
is.
let's stop freaking talking about Facebook. Let's talk about wrestling because wrestling's more cool than that.
Wrestling. That's
So
not real wrestling. Is this real wrestling we're talking about?
Nope.
This is not real wrestling. This is going back to fun wrestling. WWE this week. I don't know, man. Fun wrestling, fake. I didn't want to say fake.
Wrestling.
I didn't want to say fake and get into that whole topic of conversation again. Anyway, this week on Monday Night Raw, the WWE, in yet another move to try to bring viewers in and make the WWE interesting right now, brought Shane McMahon back, and he will be wrestling The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Yay! Right?
Who's Shane McMahon?
Vince McMahon's son.
Shane McMahon is the heir apparent to the throne.
Yes, he will take over the WWE once Vince finally has his stroke or heart attack from
If Vince
steroids.
McMahon has, or if Shane McMahon has his way and he beats The Undertaker at WrestleMania, he'll run the business after that. That's the stipulation on the line.
Drama.
The
Yeah.
stipulation is if Shane wins, he controls Raw. Raw is the flagship show of WWE. And so, in Vince's words, if you run Raw, you're going to run the whole WWE. And he's like, yeah, pretty much.
Imagine if this is like how businesses.
I know.
Right?
If they actually
Oh,
function this way.
I'm coming in. I'm gonna
Let's
take
fight.
The CEO has to wrestle his son for who controls the freaking company. That's absolutely ridiculous. Well, I thought it was pretty funny. It's been 6 years since Shane
6
McMahon
years,
has been in the ring and actually
Been
wrestled.
on WWE TV, period.
Yeah.
I'm looking this guy up.
So this was really
You
this
need
was-
to watch the video. Well, if you type Shane McMahon, it's going to come up. But the video of when he comes out, it's one of the loudest pops. A pop is a cheer.
Mhm.
You'll hear ever. It was
Pop is a
incredible.
Yeah.
A pop is when the crowd goes like it's quiet, and then all of a sudden, ah!
Yeah, like yeah.
Pop.
So it
No, but
all-
it was insane.
even Shane was like he did not expect that sort of reaction whatsoever.
When he was in the ring, like when he's just not basking in it, like, oh my god, give it to me. But he got in the ring and he couldn't even start talking yet because the crowd would not simmer down.
Yeah.
And you could see him like he wiped his eyes because he's like, it was crazy that like it was, and it's always funny because when him or Vince or Stephanie, or really anybody who's associated with wrestling is gone for any period of time and they come back, they get a big pop.
Yep.
But it's always funny with the McMahons because they inevitably go bad every single time. It's like Vince McMahon just came back at the beginning of December or so after he was on, I don't know, maybe a year or so off. Crowd went crazy. You know, oh my God, thank you, Vince. Then, you know, they always show their appreciation. And then immediately Vince is like, I'm going to do something to where you're going to hate me. And they're all, oh, fuck you, Vince.
I fucking hate you. Why'd you come back?
It's so funny. Just like how they do it. It's one of the entertaining aspects of it.
You killed Owen
Watched.
Hart. Anyway, we're not gonna
Killed
dwell.
Owen
I just had to throw it in there.
You're screwed, Brett.
You gave Brett cancer too soon.
Oh, too soon.
I think we brought that up on the show. I don't know if you heard, Tim. Brett the Hitman Hart was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Couple weeks.
prostate cancer. That's not a good thing. So
Oh, it's not.
Yep.
It's not a good thing.
no,
Prostate
no.
cancer. Come
Well,
on,
What's the bad
Zach.
thing about that prostate?
Well, hey, you know how some cancers are worse than other cancers? Like
Yes.
the state of his cancer that he is in right now is not prognosis not good, I believe.
That's kind of like that old joke. What's the best way to get gum out of your hair? Cancer. Come on, right? We have a little.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I like that.
Oh, Lordy Christ. The turn we just took. That was amazing. Thanks,
Yep.
Tim, for enlightening
Is that a
us.
hill turn?
It
Wrestling.
was kickball change. We're gonna, dance term. That's what it was. Speaking of pretentious stuff, we're gonna talk about movies. So let's get away from wrestling. I was talking about dance, pretension,
I got you.
movies.
Keep
The
going.
segue made sense in my head.
I got
The
you.
Oscars are happening tonight. I don't care. I'm pretty
Nope.
sure you guys don't really care either.
Have they been? When did they kind of start going downhill as far as being a big deal? Because they used to be the end all be all.
Internet.
I feel like it really started getting bad a little over 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, people really just
When
stopped
really,
caring.
really started using the internet.
Yeah. And people just stopped giving a crap about it anymore, man.
And people started cutting cords with cable.
And the
Netflix and Hulu, maybe.
and superhero movies took over Hollywood. Where, don't get me wrong, there are great movies coming out. The Revenant is supposed to be something that's incredibly important. I don't
Have
want
you
to see
seen it?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No. I don't
It's
care. I don't care. Like, that's
It's a
my
movie.
problem. I have a film degree. I studied film. I used to love movies. Anymore, I can honestly say I barely like movies.
What?
Like, I barely like
Shame.
movies anymore. I don't
Shame.
watch almost anything. You know that. I don't go to the movie theater anymore.
Yes.
I see comic book movies, and I saw Star Wars. That rounds out anything I see in the theater anymore. Which
Sounds
is
about
sad.
the same.
It's sad though. I understand this. I'm relating that.
I'm not gonna say
It's
sad.
unfortunate. Like
Calm your ass down, Zach.
I don't know. It's just so I used to care so much about the Oscars. The Oscars was another Super Bowl to me. And now it's just, God, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
I think it doesn't matter because people don't. They're kind of questioning like why some movies get picked, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to get around to that. And we're going to talk about some of that controversy that's happening with the Oscars. And it's also happening through other forms of media. I'll start out by bringing up a movie that came out this weekend that has absolutely flopped. And that, which I'm really kind of happy about. And it's
terrible.
It's the Gods of Egypt movie that stars Gerard Butler. And it also has Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. I can't pronounce that guy's real name, so I'm just going to refer to him as Jaime Lannister. But anyway, it brings it back to the Oscars and white people and how they just dominate Hollywood. And even in a movie like this, yet again, they do all these biblical films. And Mel Gibson cast Jim Caviezel as Jesus. And then we have, who was it? Russell Crowe, who turns and plays Noah. And these are biblical characters, so they're technically Middle Eastern. Granted, people are going to complain about this.
Come on, man. We all know Jesus is white.
Especially from the Mel Gibson Passion of the Christ, when they had authentic actors for almost every other role, and then you have Jim Caviezel, who's the white guy playing Jesus. So then for this movie, you have Gerard Butler, who is Scottish, playing is he Moses in this movie? I don't know who he actually plays. That's not what matters. He's an Egyptian.
I think people.
And then you have Jaime Lannister in there. And I understand these are Hollywood movies. You have to sell them, but at the same time, people are getting kind of sick of this stuff. And that's why there's people who are still boycotting the Oscars because of not gender diversity, but racial diversity.
But that's not just movies in general, right? Or is that just Oscar picks?
This year, it was more about the Oscar picks. I mean, there are movies with people with people of race, obviously, but then the ones that come out and that were good and that people say deserve to be there are not picked. Now, I didn't watch enough movies to actually stand behind them and justify this, so I don't know if the right people were nominated this year or not. But obviously, we're hitting the point where people are not caring about the Oscars, but they're not caring about it, and they're wanting to bring up controversy. The Oscars stir controversy because that's what people want, because people don't like it anymore, and that's kind of why I feel this is happening.
I agree.
You guys aren't talking much about the Oscars.
People cause controversy on the internet these days. You don't
What?
say.
Weird.
You don't say.
Well, there's not only that, though. There is, and this is a whole nother batch of controversy, because this is people on the internet causing controversy where it doesn't need to be. Now, not only was the Gods of Egypt thing this weekend, an Oscar thing with that race thing is happening, then this week, Netflix announced that Finn Jones, also from Game of Thrones, he plays one of the Lannisters. He's the cousin that had an affair with...
is he the priest now?
Yeah, he's the priest now. Game of Thrones spoilers if you don't, Yeah, granted,
that's not a big spoiler.
We haven't even said his name, so it's not like we're spoiling anything. But anyway, they announced that he is going to be playing Iron Fist, a.k.a. Daniel Rand, in the Netflix show Iron Fist, or the Guardians, or whatever show that he's first going to appear in. But he is actually going to play that character. Now, the controversy comes out of it is because this character is a kung fu based character. That's kind of his strength, is he uses kung fu, and he is like super strong. But lots of people were pushing that they wanted this character to actually stray from the origin. Do you guys know the origin of Iron Fist?
I had to look it up before we even did this because I'd never even heard of an Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, so what could people be bitching about?
Is this the?
I see you're already sighing.
It's because the character is traditionally he's Asian. Like
the character originally is a white guy.
Not in the article I read or skimmed. I'll say skimmed.
Must have been on Tumblr.
Maybe.
I thought that I
don't know.
I think that he's a white kid that gets trained by this martial arts master.
That's the only way I could find controversy in it. People complaining that they cast a white dude is because the character is supposed to be Asian, but they gave it to a white guy, and that's why people are calling angry white people.
See, maybe I'm confused then about Iron Fist because I believe Iron Fist is actually a white guy. Iron Fist guy, the guy's name is Daniel. He is a white guy who gets trained at a young age in this kung fu, ends up with powers, and adopts this moniker. But his leader, you know how Daredevil has Stick, who taught him everything. Well, Iron Fist has his guy who teaches him everything, and he teaches him kung fu, who's an Asian guy, I believe Chinese. So I believe what the controversy came out of is everybody wanted them to change the origin so that the character who does kung fu could then be reflected within a Chinese actor.
That's what they're butthurt about?
Yeah, I mean, come on. They want to incorporate more diversity, and they saw this as the
okay, I got you.
They saw this as the opportunity to put something in there, but no, instead Marvel's like, oh well, we'll stick with the origin story. But I think that people wanted him to be an Asian. They wanted an Asian actor to play this character, even though I don't believe that's how it was originally written. I believe it was a white guy.
Man, people are whiners.
Oh, no doubt.
Hey, wasn't the Iron Fist movie the Wu-Tang Clan one? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Wait, ask that again?
Oh my god.
What?
I know what you're talking about.
Well, I think I do too, but maybe I misheard. What was the question?
There was some kind of Iron Fist movie. It wasn't this origin story, but I didn't know if it was related at all with the Wu-Tang Clan. The guy was a smithy.
The movie you're thinking about is called The Man with the Iron Fist.
Oh.
It's called The Man with the Iron Fist. And yes, that was affiliated with Wu-Tang, I believe.
Oh no, he acted one of them.
Yeah, he's in it or something like that. It is not affiliated with the Marvel story of. Either way, you know what? I could completely have my memory wrong on Iron Fist, but I believe that the controversy is being started out of nowhere, And it's yet another reason of people just want to bitch.
Yours is probably right. I think I misread.
He may be of Asian descent, but I know he's definitely American born.
It says he's born in like New York, but he discovered this ancient kung fu like civilization or something, and so maybe he's like adopted through that or something. I don't fucking know.
Right. Well,
but they could have cut out that middle point and just had him from that kung fu Chinese place or whatever. I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about it to be talking about
Either way, this all comes back to the whole whitewashing of Hollywood. What do you guys actually? Where do you guys fall on this right now?
I haven't really been following it.
Anytime anything of race or anything one way or another comes on the internet, I just fucking don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to. I don't know.
I find it unfortunate, but I think most of us end up just turning our face the other way and ignoring it until that problem goes away, and you wait until the next problem to come up.
Especially coming from a video game community and seeing how the race and gender and all that stuff gets played out in video games, and most of that's just artificial chatter that gets spread by a few people, and then it makes news stories because it makes news stories and clicks on websites, and so they put it on their website. So it generates this. Some of it, is legitimate talk and conversation, but a lot of it is just aimless finger pointing for the sake of some story. And so that's what most of my interpretation of internet news of that is. So when it's anything else, I tend to I'm like, I have my feelings on it. I know what my feelings are. It matches up sometimes with these complaints. A lot of times it doesn't. And I don't know. It's a complicated issue. But most of the time a non-issue, I feel.
It definitely is. I think for me it definitely comes around to just abuse on the internet. I mean, you can find it in the internet can just be such an awful place.
Awful place.
Be it Twitter, be it Facebook, even Instagram is just as bad as anything. Snapchat, Reddit, Imager, all that shit. People are just awful to each other constantly.
And then you need stuff like Twitch Plays Pokemon to pop up to redeem the internet.
Right. Every once in a while, the internet.
Every once in a while, this thing pops back up, and I'm just like, okay, maybe humanity's not lost. And then almost immediately something else happens, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. Well, we have to move on. I don't want to talk about that stuff anymore. We are going to stick on talking about Netflix though and Marvel. I just want to get away from the depressing topic. Let's talk about.
Well, we're staying on more comic book stuff. So
isn't it time for topic of the show?
Let's go through two more things. I know we got to get to topic of the show. Yeah, I know you guys didn't see it, but Daredevil had season 2 trailer. Part 2 came out this week. The show comes out on March 18th. You guys didn't even watch the trailer, but it introduced the Elektra character, which was really cool.
Wait, which one? Oh, Elektra?
Yeah. So Jennifer Garner played Elektra in the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, and then she actually had her own spin-off movie, and it was terrible. It's like notoriously one of the worst comic book movies ever made.
That Daredevil movie was pretty bad too.
Yeah. Well, Daredevil is way better. Way better.
With Bullseye, whatever the hell.
Yeah, we still say, like, when me and my brother play games or we throw stuff at stuff, I never miss.
It's like, give me a paperclip. This guy's going down.
Right. Daredevil is freaking awful, but it is way better than Elektra, at least. So, anyway, go watch that trailer. You guys should go watch it. Tim, I thought you watched Daredevil Season 1. Jase, I know you haven't.
I did. Yeah, I wasn't super thrilled with it. That Kingpin guy was kind of not the best villain.
Well, it's going to start incorporating all other things now. It's going to start tying in with the Jessica Jones show. Hopefully, it's going to tie in with the Punisher. We're finally going to see the Punisher, and it will also end up crossing over with Luke Cage, and it will cross over with Iron Fist. So we're going to see a lot of cool stuff coming out of those shows and crossovers. The other thing I want to talk about from Netflix, last thing from Netflix, is Fuller House was released this week. I have watched half of it. It's 13 episodes. I've watched the first 6. Jace, you watched through it all already. Man,
All of
it
it
is.
yesterday.
It is good, but damn it, it's bad. Damn
I'm
it,
not
it's
even
bad.
gonna go on. I don't remember what I said last night. I know I said I liked it. But a lot of that is tugging at the nostalgia. I saw a tweet this morning from what's her name, Alana. I don't know what her last name is.
Alana
From
Pierce?
IGN. Yeah, she posted. She goes, "Now I've never seen Full House before, but Fuller House is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life." And I said, "That sounds about right." Because if you have no ties to the regular Full House, those nostalgia moments aren't going to mean anything, and that show is going to be awful.
Yeah.
And Fuller House. Well, Full House isn't very good either.
Full House is not good, but Fuller House.
It's alright.
I can't sum it up
It's
any
okay.
better than a comedian. He also works at IGN. Brian Altano. Find him on Twitter at Agent Bizzle. Wrote a tweet, and it is seriously one of the funniest things I've ever read. And this is his description of Fuller House. Brian Altano, quote, Fuller House feels like the story of a cursed family forced to relive the same horrors over and over in a house that won't let them leave. And that is exactly what Fuller House is.
So I would love to be able to read that, but
Oh,
Brian
Lord.
Altano blocked me a long time ago.
Oh, seriously? That's really funny. I can't believe that.
I don't know what for what, and when I tell people that happened, they're like, "How is that even possible?" Because he has like zero filter, and like he's like really out there too. So
Yeah.
they're like, you must have said something fucking like out there and bad. I was like, I don't know, because I don't get that bad on the internet.
Well, he's freaking hilarious. That sums up the show. Tim, I know you had to have seen Full House at some point in your life.
Nope.
How
Full House
is that
at
even
all.
possible?
Wowzers.
28 years old, never seen it.
That's
Sorry.
incredible.
Aggressive.
I know my sister has, though. If you haven't seen Full House, don't watch Fuller House because it is going to just...
Oh, 100%.
It is going to be awful.
All right.
Well, that's all the news that we have for this week. We went already over an hour, and we're not even to topic of the week. So let's get to topic of the week and do 10, 15 minutes on this before we bust out of here. Sorry we're going a little late. Or am I sorry?
Whoa, watch out. Big question.
Topic of the week, though, comes back to PlayStation. Tim, you posed a question to me recently where you called me and you were like, man, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. And I've been thinking a long
I
time.
said if. Because it's
Yes.
possible. Like,
for work. Yeah, you may end up doing traveling for work. Is that what it was?
Right.
And you posed the question of, should I get a handheld? And if I do, is it worth it to now invest in a Vita? Now, I've had a Vita pretty much since it came out. And Jase, you've had a Vita since day one, right?
I had it since minute one.
Minute one. So I didn't buy it minute one. I think I made it all the way to the Assassin's Creed bundle for the white.
Damn, that was.
I waited like a year.
7 months later.
Yeah, it was at least half a year.
It
But
was-
I wanted the white Vita though,
that makes
and we
sense.
all knew it was gonna come. So I waited around for the white Vita. I got that one. But I've supported it the entire time though.
That's year one though. Yeah.
What do you think, Jase? Do you think that it's worth it for Tim to invest in a Vita now?
Does Tim like PS1 games?
I do.
Do you like Final Fantasy games?
Yeah, I want to replay Final Fantasy 9.
Did you ever have a PSP?
Yes.
Were there any games on there that you really liked that you would like to play again?
Fuck. Nothing that's coming to mind, so
Okay.
I guess not.
Probably not then.
Probably not then. You
do
like indie games?
That was the next one. Do you like indie games?
Yes.
Okay.
That's going to be perfect then.
Do you
like to potentially lay in your bed and still be able to play your PlayStation 4 before you go to sleep, even though it's hooked up in the living room?
I don't know because I mean, like playing on that screen.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, the screen is great.
It's going to
The screen
surprise
is
you.
phenomenal.
He's played a Vita before.
I'm just saying-
Tim has played my white Vita.
Even when it's if you're streaming and you're doing remote play with the PS4 game on your Vita, The screen and what you're seeing is never the problem, ever. Never.
What is the problem?
Usually, it's the lack of 2 shoulder buttons.
Yep, because you have to use back touch. They have to modify controls.
Rich, I don't know if you've heard of this. There's some third-party stuff out there to add a second L and R button. But I recently read that Sony is actually partnering with a third-party manufacturer, and they're going to make, like, they have this patent out for an attachment to give it for things. So Sony's not doing it. It's not going to be Sony branded. It's not going to be PlayStation branded, but it's like has their backing behind it, I guess. And it's going to be a thing that goes on the back and has these things that simulate your finger touching the back touch to give you L2s and R2s.
Right.
And I'm like, I want that right now.
I have seen those also. I always wondered how well they would, work.
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited for this one that has Sony's backing behind it.
How old is it? Like 4 years?
Yeah, Vita just had its 4 year.
4 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
On
we talked about it. I think did we talk about it last week when
you
were
brought it up
Jase?
on Sunday. Yep.
So let's talk about reasons why you would not get a Vita. Can you think of reasons why Tim wouldn't get a Vita?
Well, the only reason I was even not considering it was just the price. Is this something I want to drop $200 on?
See,
I mean, I'm rich, but
you can find it for less.
I'm not rich.
It's constantly on sale.
Yeah.
For like probably like $150 is probably the cheapest I've seen it.
So the first thing that I'll say about the Vita is the fact that after this point, don't expect support for it from here on out. There will still be some games coming out for it. There will be some indie games that come out for it. But Sony is not really making games for it. Sony is not trying to make any new features for it. If anything, the Vita has actually started to lose features.
A couple, yeah.
Including things like Twitter. They stopped. You could have Twitter on your Vita. And I actually used it on my Vita quite frequently. And they just... Yeah, I know, weird. Because I would be playing a game and instead of like having my phone, I would just switch on my Vita and I would change the screen and I would look at it. But they don't support that anymore. You can't use Twitter.
They don't have YouTube on it anymore.
They don't have YouTube, that seems ridiculous also.
There's a million other devices to use for it.
But come on, think of like, okay, if I was a kid and I was 10 years old and my parents are like, you could have...
shouldn't be on YouTube anyway.
You could have
or have a Vita at 10 years old, man.
Right. But these kids now are getting phones. And so if I were to ever have a child, I necessarily wouldn't want my 10-year-old running around with a phone all the time where they can text and call people willy-nilly. But I wouldn't have an issue with them having a Vita, and if they connected to their social media on their Vita or watch YouTube on the Vita, that would be better than me buying them a stupid iPad, which I don't want to support.
Let me ask you guys 2 questions about the Vita. Do you think that Sony's going to make another handheld, or is this potentially their last one?
I don't think they do, but a lot of that is me just preparing myself that they don't. I don't think they will. I just don't think the market for handheld is there.
It was in China or Japan, right? Like huge.
The Japan's different though. Their whole thing is very different. Like
the Vita is doing very well in Japan, even right now.
And
but the audience is just so different. It's not the same. And 3DS still murders the Vita even in Japan.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like, I wonder if that'd be reason enough for Sony to come out with another one.
Like I said, I stand by Colin's sentiment that they're crazy enough to make another one if they were going to. They're crazy enough to do it, but I don't think they will.
Okay, then let me ask you my other question. So you guys, like me, play PS4 a lot, PC, whatever. How often do you guys even play your Vita when you're not traveling?
It depends on if the game's out for it.
Okay, and they're not coming out with any more.
Well, there's still indie games. There's the third-party games. They're constantly updating their PS1 classics, their PSP classics. Who said he said it's not even just in house. If you have it connected to Wi-Fi and your PS4 is on rest, if your PS4 is on in Arizona and you have a trip to New York City, if your Wi-Fi is strong enough, you can play your PS4 from there.
Right.
I went to New Mexico to visit my sister when my PS4 was still at home in Oklahoma, and before I went to sleep when I was there, I would play when Destiny first came out, and I'd do my grinding on Destiny and do my daily bounties and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Fucking Zer.
Yeah. To go back to your question, Tim, how much do I play it now? And honestly, my answer is going to be very little. I play it very little because most of my gaming right now happens at home. Pretty much everything that comes out for Vita now also comes out on PlayStation 4. Very few Vita exclusive games anymore. And even Vita games that are exclusive, things that like Gravity Rush, which is a game I would have told you to go out and buy for Vita. You now can get Gravity Rush HD for PlayStation 4. Something like Tearaway, which was a Vita exclusive game. I would be like, well, now you can just go get Tearaway Unfolded on PS4, which is an updated, granted different version of the game. It's going to have different mechanics because it doesn't have the cameras, and it doesn't have the touchpad on the front, and it doesn't have the rear touchpad. So the game plays differently, but you have access to it now. And the Vita keeps doing this to itself, where it keeps putting its games that make you want to have that system everywhere else. One of the few games that I know you can't get is like Persona 4 Gold or Freedom Wars.
I was gonna say, even then though, it's still not the same idea though. Yes, you can play it on your PS4, but guess what? If you want that save file, or if you want to go somewhere where there's not Wi-Fi, you still got that Vita to play it. I mean, I don't look at it that way of, well, Gravity Rush is on the PS4 now, so it's a non-factor in the Vita. I'm like, no, it's still a total factor for the Vita.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it being on PS4 is irrelevant to me.
Okay, I think you guys answered my question. I think
I'll
only buy
yes.
it. I'll only buy it if I start traveling.
See, that may be the answer. Like I said, I really like playing PlayStation games while I'm taking a crap.
Yeah.
It's great. I like playing while I'm in bed, while my system is in my living room because I don't have anything in my bedroom. I'll play it sometimes when I'm in there. Like I said, it is definitely when I go home, and if I really go anywhere, I throw it in so that way if I'm sitting there at my friend's house and where it's just downtime and we're like waiting for food or something, I'm playing it. If I'm like I said, if I go home, to travel home, and I'm like, I'm not going to take my console this time. I take my Vita and I instantly have, like I said, all of my PS1 games. I have all those, the access of it. Like I said, I know that's traveling again, but even just at home, like I said, I have two screens, so it's really hard for me to justify like, oh, I'll play it while I'm watching a movie because I can play PS4 while I watch a movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, sometimes I don't want both of them running, and even sometimes I'll use the computer for music, and then I'll sit back and I'll play my Vita. So it happens often, probably not as often as I would like, but I save enough, especially when it's only $200. Like I said, I still feel like it's a steal. I fucking love the Vita.
Yeah. If the question is the Vita worth $200, it's a resounding yes.
That is true. That and that's not the question. So you are right.
Right. Well, Tim, if you feel we answered enough for you, I think we can wrap up topic of the week. I think the Vita is a wonderful
I'm gonna say
console.
Yes. Is my
Consider
answer to the
wrapped.
question. Yes.
Wrapped. Pretty
Wrapped.
low bow.
Wrapped.
All right. Well, that was topic of the week, and that was HutchCast Live. This has been episode 6 of HutchCast Live. We had a good episode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am Zach, aka The Gaming Hutch. You can find me here on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheGamingHutch. You can also find me on Twitter, @The Gaming Hutch. You can find me on Instagram @The Gaming Hutch. Jase, where can we find you on the internet, sir?
@Jase Plays Games on Twitter. on Twitch. Those are the only ones I'm going to plug right now.
Fair enough.
Hastings. What are you
Tim,
doing?
the Lieutenant Dan of HutchCast Live. Can't find him anywhere. He's on an island. Find him on PlayStation
The island
Network.
of Arizona.
Go find Sneaky Protestant. Friend him. Add him online. Watch what he plays. That is all she wrote for HutchCast Live, episode 6. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week at 5:30 Central Time for another episode. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.